Uh-oh, is Blondskunk flying? How dare he? What's up, everybody on YouTube? How's everybody doing? I'm doing just fine. Doing awesome, actually. So today, welcome back to another Blondskunk's Minecraft Let's Play. Yes, we are in creative. Yes, I get it. You know, you might be a little scared. You're like, what's going on? This is Blondskunk's Minecraft Let's Play Minecraft Survival Part 52? 53. Yes, got it. 53, episode 53, and he's flying. What is going on? I am mad. Well, if you didn't know, I've been doing my majority of building off camera in creative, and I wanted to do building today, but I decided, you know what, it would just be easier just to turn on OBS and just start recording and just kind of build with you guys and talk in creative. And I think we're going to do this a little bit more often, especially since I've been really busy and I really want to get out this series, but it's difficult because trying to collect things in survival and trying to do things like that is a bit ridiculous at the moment. And I don't have any time for that. But I really want to update you guys on this world because there's a lot of you that really enjoy this series and a lot of you that really like the talkie series like Blondskunk Minecraft Let's Play on the channel. That's why I've been holding off Afterlife as well, because it's really difficult for me to sort of collect resources and kind of keep up with everybody on the server at the moment. But once September rolls around and school starts back up, it'll actually be a little bit easier for me, since I won't have to really work I won't have to work as much anymore. Which is pretty cool. You know, it definitely, you know, gives me some more time to focus on the channel and focus on the series on the channel. But with that said, let's get right into today's episode of Blondskunk's Minecraft Let's Play. You might be wondering, okay, Blondskunk, why are you in creative, man? Like, what's going on? We're in creative simply because, you know, it just kind of helps the process of building go a little bit faster. It's a known fact that creative is definitely better. We have unlimited resources. We can fly, and it's just easier. I've done this. No, I haven't done it before. This is the first time that I've done this. But I have done this off camera. And I have done building off camera. Like, this whole museum is built in creative so far. You know, nothing. I mean, like, there's a couple pillars here and there that have been built in survival because I'm crazy and I think I can do this in survival. I could if I really had the time to do so, but I just don't have the time. And so that's simply just mainly because I, you know, am working and stuff like that. So, but as I said, once September rolls around, we'll be all right. We'll be okay. We'll be free on time. But the main point of this episode is just kind of just to talk and just kind of get back into the groove of things, right? And I also want to show you a new trick that I do for paths now, and I love it. And nobody else thinks it's cool, but I think it's cool, so we're going to do it today. Today I actually wanted to I had a topic for us, and we're going to talk about that in just a sec. But let me show you my new trick that I'm doing with paths. And I did this in my one Kingdom world that you saw the castle of, the showcase that I did of the castle. I did that trick in that world, so you know, it's pretty cool. It works really easy. To make paths, just blow up some TNT. You know, of course, lay it out first, right? Lay out where your path's gonna go, and then each little dot is where you're gonna place a TNT block. And so, like here, I did a dot, and so I'm gonna light that up and do, you know, I'm gonna do one at a time. I don't want to like break out each one and do, like, you know, TNT. I'll put a TNT here. I'll put a TNT here. I mean, two of them is fine because it'll catch. You're right. It'll catch. It won't go crazy. So if I just do this here, like, you know, one, and then that will maybe you'll get triggered by this one. No, it didn't. But you don't want to go crazy with it. But as you can see, it's digging sort of a random path in a way. You know, usually sometimes builders will just kind of dig out whatever and just kind of go crazy with a shovel. I say it's much easier just to kind of blow, especially if you're creative. Just take some TNT and just start blowing stuff up. Like, start blowing your paths up because it's pretty cool. And then sort of, you know, it's sort of big, but you can adjust that later. You can kind of, you know, make the size that you want it to be. Now here, for like, if I have decorations and stuff, I'm obviously not going to do like a TNT there because I don't want it to blow up my my structures and stuff. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of dig it out like I normally would. But I really like the idea of sort of using TNT as making a random path sort of generator in a way. And I find it to be very easy. So if you're just starting out to make paths and you're not really good at paths and getting the shape of them, just kind of do what I'm doing right now. And it's really fun and easy. It just takes a little bit of time because the TNT, you know, it has to kind of, you know, prime itself up a little bit, and then, you know, you have to wait, and then you have to go, and then you wait and go and whatever. So that can definitely be a nuisance in a way. But yeah, that's just my little trick I just want to show you. That's the trick of the day, ladies and gentlemen. But what I wanted to talk about in this video and this episode, you know, school's right around the corner. I have it. It's my last year of school. Yay! Yay! It's my last year of high school. It's fantastic. But some people are just going into high school, right? And you know what? I'm pretty, you know, got some pretty good tips for the peeps in the high schools that are just starting, okay? And I got a comment about this, and it's from a Spring Pig. I actually know them in real life, this person in real life, and they asked me a little comment on my YouTube channel and left it. So I decided, you know what, I'll leave them a comment. I'll leave a long paragraph and give them some advice. Well, what they said was that basically, can you give any tips for a person that's going to high school, right? Can you give any tips for high school and just going into high school and stuff like that? I'm like, sure. So I did leave my tips. So if you want to check out the comment, it's on the Overwatch video that says, is Anna good? So if you want to check out that video, it'll be somewhere. It'll be great. It'll be on the channel. Suggest you check it out. It's pretty good. Anna in the end is pretty good, you know. But anyway, not the point. Spring Pig asked me, okay, she's like, hey, can you give me some tips for high school? You know, it's gonna be scary. It's gonna be scary. No, depending on what high school you're going to. If you're going to something like a crazy, you know it's gonna be bad type of school, don't even go to it. You know, right? I'm kidding. Maybe you're forced to go to it. Who knows? But if it is something like that, if it's like a bad, you know, experience, and you just you have that feeling, try not to, you know, like try not to have that bad, like don't try to have a bad impression of like what high school is gonna be. Like, there's a lot of stereotypes out there of like, oh, high school is, you know, this blah 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 blah, the generic, right? A lot of the times it's not, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of like TV shows like that Nickelodeon will put on or whatever, because I used to watch those shows, and you know, I used to remember like, hey, my school's not really like that. Like, we don't have any like crazy bullies that they'll put up there on the show. Like, it's not as bad as it seems, you know. Like high school, yes, it can be scary because you're going into like a new situation, right? It's a new thing, a new experience. But what new situation is what isn't scary about a new situation? What's not nerve-wracking, you know? Because a lot of the times when I got my license, for example, and I was learning to drive, basically. No, I didn't get my license yet. But I was learning to drive, and I used to talk about it on my previous Blondskunk My Gravel about how stressful it was for me. And I think it was because it's just a new experience. It's something you haven't done before. Like today, for instance, I went out to the place where you get gas. A gas place, okay? I forget what it's called. Gas pump? No, that's the thing that you fill it up with. Oh, God. I'm forgetting words here. Anyway, so I went there today for my first time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna fill up the car. I'm gonna fill up the car and just see what happens, you know. And I've been shown how to do it before, right? But just being there by myself and doing it by myself, it was a little bit nerve-wracking. It was like, hey, I haven't done this before. My body's telling me, hey, I'm a little nervous, right? And that happens, especially with high school and going to new schools, and not just going to new schools in general. Maybe you're going into a new year of school. Maybe it's just like, hey, I have to go back to school. Maybe you get some sort of anxiety from that. Who knows? all that I know is anxiety exists, but you can beat it. You can overcome that, especially with the new thing situation where it's sort of like, okay, I'm going into this new thing. You just got to kind of convince yourself that you can do it. And when you do that, it becomes a little easier, right? You just got to have some confidence in yourself that you can go into this. So the main points that I gave in my comment that I responded, my response comment to the comment that I got on my video about the high school from Spring Pig, was my main point was work hard. You know, I had 3 main points basically. It says work hard, right? Work hard at what you want to learn. You know, you have, I believe, something like electives or clubs that you can do, or like sort of like in a way talents. So like if you're playing an instrument or something like that, work hard at something like that and really try to improve upon that skill, as well as try to improve upon your knowledge and everything, and try to become a smarter and better person. And just work hard. If you get a F on a test, or if you get, a bad grade, it's not the end of the world. I've gotten plenty of them to understand that, hey, it's not the end of the world, but I got to do better. I got to make either the next semester or whatever it is, the next day, the next test, that much better. I got to just study a little harder. Maybe I studied my butt off, but maybe just not enough. Maybe I messed up on something. And really examine the test that you did bad on. Really try and learn what you did. And if you really can't figure it out, ask your teacher. And if your teacher is a douchebag, well, what are you going to do? Ask your parents. Last resort, right? Ask your parents. Maybe not your last resort, but you understand what my point is. Like, maybe you want to ask your teacher before you ask your parent, like, because they're the one that graded the test. And then it just kind of helps to understand like what you got wrong on, and then that way you're not kind of like, oh, wait, what did I get? What? I can't understand this. I am going crazy. And that way you kind of know what to improve upon with the next test or something like that, and just try to do better. That's the only way you can improve as a person and improve yourself mentally, right? So that's kind of the bad test sort of tip there I can give you. Also, like bullies and stuff, right? I was talking about this earlier. Bullies, try not to worry about them. Because if you come across one, just ignore them. And if you run into some sort of peer pressure, try to ignore that as well. That's no good. And, if the best word to say, they always say, just say no. But sometimes it's a little bit more complicated than that, because sometimes it might be like your best friend or something. And then you're like, oh, crap. Like, my best friend wants me to do this sort of drug type of thing or smoke a cigarette. Don't do it. I've never done anything like that in my life, and I've always tried to be so resistant to anything, any comments towards it, and I've always, tried to be the good boy and all that stuff. But in all seriousness, because it is really a serious topic, don't fall into that. Don't fall into that trap of, oh, my friend is doing it, I'm going to do it too, because that sounds stupid. You don't know how stupid you sound when you say it like that, because it's just, you are smarter than that. You can do better. And, take high school as a year of fun. Drugs and anything like that, they're going to make it way worse. Because reason why I'm talking about this with high school and everything is because this is the years that this kind of comes into play. It's not a sort of a joking matter in a way. It's sort of a serious thing. Like, this actually does happen. Like it's not something that, people kind of just willy-nilly joke about. It's some serious stuff. Maybe in middle school even. Maybe it even happens in middle school and stuff like that. I'm not sure. But it goes through school, and that, and it goes through a major part of high school as well. And just don't fall into that trap, getting into that stuff, because drugs are no good. They do no good for you, and they waste your money. So don't fall into the addiction, even if you really feel like you need it, and you're like, I just won, no. don't even try it. Seriously, literally, don't try it. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Now, in the end, you can see that it looks nice. Like, the path is not bad, and it didn't take that long to make. Like, I think what it is the digging part of it all. If you're not using like a program in Minecraft, or like a separate program outside of Minecraft, I think what it is it does take a little longer to sort of make paths, because by hand, and this is probably the best way if you don't want to use like a MC Edit or like a World Painter type of thing to make your paths. And I don't use any of those programs. I never ever touched them because I never had like sort of any, like, I guess you could say, time to learn them, but I just never really felt like learning them, to be honest. So that is why I try to come up with different and faster ways to sort of build in vanilla Minecraft and not use the outside programs. Sure, the outside programs do make it way faster, but I just never felt like learning them, and then I kind of just got used to building block by block like I do all the time. And yeah, it's really fun. But as you can see, the path does turn out nice in the end. I'm just using cobblestone and andesite for right now. You can get a little bit more detailed with it. I'm just kind of putting this down just to sort of be another marker for the path. And I could come through here later, add bushes along it, and make it really nice. But yeah, it looks nice so far. Like, the andesite really does make a good path block. I tried granite and diorite in paths, and that works as well if you use the right materials. So definitely really cool. I thought this went on forever because I'm like trying to stall. I'm like stalling here. I'm like just kind of talking about the path. I'm like, come on, path, end now. I have nothing else to talk about. But yeah, there it is. I mean, you know, it's a path. You know, what's so special about it? But for the most part, it looks good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, that isn't too shabby. I'm gonna give it an A+. I'm gonna give it an A+ for the high school stuff. That's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed my you know, little kind of high school sort of tips and tricks, because I've been there, done, well, about to done that, and it's not as bad as you might think it is. And try to just get through it and just enjoy it, because it's gonna be the best 4 years of your life. You're gonna love it. But that's gonna do it. As always, don't forget to be awesome, and I will see you guys next time.